I know collectively it requires a team, and this is a great team in Tampa when we talk about that defense and the impact that Leonard Fournette had and Antonio Brown. But it always seems like there's that one thing that kind of glues it all together, and there's that guy in the middle, Tom Brady. I mean, when you think of all the greats and what they've accomplished, and now we've got a guy that has 7. I mean, this is Phil Jackson territory. He's going to run out of fingers at some point. It's, again, we may not truly understand the significance of this, Brett, until he's retired and we really get to put it in perspective, because he's got 7 now.
Yeah. I'm speechless. I don't think it's never happened, obviously, in our game. And there's no question that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a very, very good team. And, no disrespect to any of the other players, but the missing piece to that puzzle was Tom Brady. Now, if you'd have plugged in a different quarterback of his stature and, Breeze, someone who is
Rodgers,
would that magical season still would have happened? I don't know. I don't know. But I think Tom Brady, his leadership, his competitiveness, is he the most talented quarterback? I don't think anyone would say that. But he's got that it factor that you hear people talk about. He makes everyone around him so much better. His competitive nature is as good now as it's ever been. And I've said that all season long. That's one of the things that sets him apart, I think. And I use and I can't remember if I talked about this on a show when they went to halftime against Atlanta. Several years ago, one of the D linemen for Atlanta was jawing with Brady, and of course at that point Atlanta was pretty much crushing them, and they were getting after Tom really well, and you could tell that he provoked or pissed Tom off. And I said, way too early to do that. And so I was thinking the same thing last night when Honey Badger was sticking his finger in Tom's face. Now, the crazy thing was Tampa had their number already. So it was like, why incite this guy any more than you need to? And, that's just – he feeds off of any and every little thing that he can to motivate him to be the best.
And I will say this, whenever we talk about all the greats and try to define the one characteristic that stand out, Brett Favre, his scrambling ability and the ability to make, throws from almost anywhere on the football field. Pat Mahomes, we'd say the same thing. With Montana, there was maybe accuracy. With Peyton Manning, it was how he commanded the line of scrimmage. The one thing that just stands out about Tom Brady, and look, it helps when you're protected very well, and he ordinarily is, but he also gets rid of the ball quickly. That sense of calm. He never seems to be uncomfortable. He never seems to be under duress or frazzled in any way. And even some great ones at times have been in games where you felt that way. He's been frustrated. The 2 Super Bowl losses to the Giants, you could see frustration as he was getting hit and knocked around, but you never get the sense that he's uncomfortable or frazzled in terms of the emotional part of the game, because doesn't have the greatest arm, as you said. He's not the greatest athlete of all time. But if I had to say what stands out about him, that may be it about him in that pocket.
Yeah, I think there's 3 things that stand out to me and have stood out throughout his career. One, his calm under pressure. You're absolutely right. There's only one other quarterback who I can, in my lifetime, that I can picture being very similar, if not the same, and that's Joe Montana. His pocket presence was outstanding. Tom Brady, he just knows where to slide to, where to move, and he resets, and he's just like, okay, now I'll just get back to what I was doing, rather than panic. Secondly, his accuracy, I think, it gets talked about, but I don't think it's. I think it's. In my opinion, most accurate quarterback in the history of the game. And thirdly, his competitiveness. Having all the tools but not being super competitive will not get you where Tom Brady has gotten. I mean, he has the fire the drive to practice hard, to study hard, to motivate his players, to motivate himself. And that's week in and week out. It's hard to do it week in and week out. Be good in practice. Be good in meetings. But he has that it factor. And those three, definitely, to me, those stand out more than any other thing that he has.
Yeah, and I have to say this. After the game, Jim Nantz asks him about next year, and he goes, we're coming back. And, there seemed to be an element of surprise, not with Nantz, but with some people out there that cover this who always want to write that storybook ending, Brett. I will tell you, not only was I not surprised, I'd be surprised if we got anything else, because when people ask and they go, wouldn't it be great he goes out with a Super Bowl, I say the same thing that you'd probably say to people as you played late into your career. You're not trying to write a story. You play the game because you love it.
Yeah.
He still seems to love it. And, most players don't get a chance to have their kids understand what they've accomplished, because usually you have kids and by the time you're retired, they're still very young.
Right.
He may be sending his kids to college and he's still going to be playing. I mean,
heck, he may
just
be playing with them.
Right. He could be like LeBron James and his son at some point playing with him in the NBA. I mean, he may be waiting for them to get into the National Football League, but I don't get the sense that he's lost any joy for playing this game. It's not about a storybook ending with him.
No, and that I've said this. It seems like week in and week out, in regards to Tom. As long as they can protect him, first and foremost, his arm strength is absolutely 100% fine. His accuracy, it couldn't be better. It really comes down to mentally, does he have that fire? And I don't think you can watch him and say, whether you're a fan or not. I don't see how you couldn't be a fan, even if you're not necessarily a Bucs fan or a Patriots fan. I mean, you have to really appreciate what he's done. But I don't think any one person can say, I just don't. He's just not the player he was. I mean, you have to be an idiot to say that, because it's totally not true. The only thing that would say that, it's like, why would you say that? Well, he's 43, and so what? Maybe 43 today, was 31 back in the day. I don't know. But the truth is, he's great. He's still great. He's got the competitive fire. They protected him well for the most part this year and got better throughout the season. Looks like he enjoys his teammates. They enjoy him. Why wouldn't he?